Welcome to this welcome video. I am Anthony Kuchma. I am the grad advisor that oversees the interior of BC. So I look after and take care of grade 10 to 12 students who are in the interior, which is sort of like you're looking at my geography. It's right from the Alberta border back to about Merritt, and then from the U.S. border up to just above Kamloops. So a lot of different towns and areas, cities and places. And if you're receiving this email, obviously you live somewhere in there. So I live in Kelowna, and if you want to get to know me, there's a video that you'll be able to watch later, and I'll show that to you. But you guys are going to be in for a long haul here, so sit down, get comfy, gather everyone together. This is designed for parents as well as grade 9 students going into grade 10. So I'm going to be making this one video. It's going to explain tons and tons and tons of stuff, and then you can watch it, and then you can email me your questions afterwards. So we're going to be going over courses, planning, funding, websites, all sorts of stuff, the differences and changes you can expect to see compared to the K-9 program and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I said, get cozy. I'm going to start off with a parent segment. So this is for parents only. Kids you can obviously watch, but so parents, it's important in the high school years to still be involved in your child's education. And it's really important to oversee what they are doing. And I want to show that to you first because that is something that lots of parents that I've encountered don't know where their student's at. They don't know that their student has fallen behind. They don't know that their student, might be not doing as well in their grades, and all that type of thing. So I am on the Heritage Christian Online School homepage, onlineschool.ca. This is going to be your portal for everything. And from here, parents can go to the login button and they can go into NCOM. So this is what I want to show you first. I already took a screenshot, so you can't see who this person is. But this is what you're going to this is what you're going to see when you log into NCOM. It depends on how many kids you have in a high school. Like you might have a couple. So if you've got like 2 kids, it's going to look a little bit different. Because you'll have this person in grade 11, but you might have a student or a child in grade 10 or in grade 12. So on this website, you are able to select courses, and you're able to select courses once for the school year. Once you've chosen your courses for the year, any changes need to be done by me, the grad advisor. And you can send me a quick email letting me know which course you'd like to add or drop. And we'll go over that later. You're also going to be able to re-enroll your children for future years. And grade 10, or I guess if you're in grade 9, you re-enroll grade 9 to grade 10, you re-enroll 10 to 11, and then you re-enroll 11 to 12. And then even once you get to grade 12, you re-enroll and you say graduating. And there's a little graduating button, and you click that. So you are in charge of re-enrollment for the children. You're also able to go into the resource manager, additional resources, to check out your funding. That is something that I have on my list here. So we are going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about that later. So funding is different in the grad program, very different. So we'll go over that. But this one, the online course progress, is the big one that I want to talk about right now so that you can actually see where your student's at. So I'm going to close this. I've got another screenshot to show you here. So if we're looking at the students' progress here, you can see that they have a current mark and a current progress. My head's a little bit big here. Let me move my head over here. So what you're going to see though is their expected progress and you're going to see their late activities. So you're able to see that this student right now, they've got some pretty good grades. Uh, Literary studies, 0%. So maybe they've submitted one thing and they did it incorrectly, so they got a 0 because their progress is very low. But they've got a lot of late activities. So you as a parent can go in and you need to be checking like, hey, talking to your kids, did you submit this work? Did you submit this work? But then you need to also be checking in NCOM to see, hey, have they actually submitted it? Have they been submitting the right things? There might be a couple things in here that might be late because maybe the teacher hasn't marked it yet, but this is where you can check where the student's progress is. And so now I'm going to take you, because I am a teacher as well as a grad advisor. And so in one of my courses, if you click on to Anatomy of Physiology, I can scroll down to the schedule. And so schedules or they're also called pacing guides. This is how I can check to see if students are on pace or not. So this is what you're kind of seeing when you look at your NCOM and you're looking at your online progress. So even if you're not taking an online course, even if you're taking a hybrid or an individualized course, they may still have a Moodle and there might be a pacing guide. So some of the stuff that I've been saying might be Chinese to you guys, so I'm going to do a little bit of explaining right now. So in the kindergarten to grade 9 program, you may be used to having one teacher that oversees everything. We do try to encourage families to enroll into at least 1 or 2 online courses so that you can sense what those are like, because in high school, online courses are very popular and it's definitely at the threshold sort of there in grade 10 is where lots of parents begin feeling helpless and helping their children with their schoolwork. So sometimes if you're a parent and you're not that good at math, by the time they get into grade 10 math, you're like, ugh, I cannot help you anymore. Go talk to your teacher. And so instead of having one resource teacher that you are overseen by, you're going to have multiple course teachers. And so before, you would always have this one person that you talk to. Now you have your core teachers, plus you have me, the grad advisor. So I don't actually have access to students' courses. I can't go in and look at their work. So if you've got a question about your child's course, about the curriculum that you need to order for it, all those types of things, that is going to be a question for the teacher. However, to enroll into those courses, you need to talk to me. And if you're trying to find out a little bit about the different flavors of courses, I definitely have a little bit of information on that for sure. So not only is the teacher setup different, but the course setup is different as well. So you are probably very familiar with a synchronous model where you begin your school year in September and you end the school year in June. And that is, very common. That's how pretty much every school works. And once you get to high school, we do offer synchronous courses. So in grade 10, you can take your online synchronous courses. That is an option. They run from September all the way till June. But we also offer asynchronous courses, which means you can start when you want and end when you want. With that added freedom, you need to make sure that you stay on top of your courses and stay on top of your progress so that you actually make it to the end. But the asynchronous model offers the option of semesters. So you can start in September and in January and have a first semester course. And then you in second semester can go from February till June and finish another course. So that is something that's there. Now, synchronous courses are only available for our core courses. So if you're like, oh my goodness, I love the synchronous model, I've been doing that forever, I really want to stick with that, then our math, our English, our social studies, our science, our Christian studies, those courses are all going to be synchronous, and you can sign up for those. Now, if you're new and all of these different course options are sounding like crazy, so synchronous are going to have a once a week meeting with the teacher. So I'll actually be teaching a synchronous course, I believe, this upcoming school year. So some of you might have me as a teacher in the synchronous course. But I think I'm mostly going to be doing grade 11 courses, so you might actually not have me. But in a synchronous course, it's an online course that is set up, and the synchronous courses are only available in online. And the 3 different options for courses are online, hybrid, individualized. And I'll be talking about those in a second, but because some of you might be familiar with synchronous, I want to talk about those first. So in the synchronous model, you're going to have a meeting with a teacher once a week. And none of these are going to overlap. So you could enroll in every single synchronous course, and that would be fine. So with each synchronous course, there's going to be an hour allotment every week, and you're going to log into Zoom. So, this is Zoom. Many of you may have already been using it. It has chat features, and you're able to set up meetings, and they're with video calling. So if I just open up mine, I wonder if it's going to work, because I'm already, I don't think it's going to actually set up my my thing, because I'm actually using my camera to film myself. But you're able to set up meetings with teachers, and you can schedule meetings, and I'm able to screen share. So Zoom is a very awesome tool. And so the teacher will be able to share content and teach a lesson, and then the students can work on that over the week, and then they meet once a week, all the way from September until June. So that's what a synchronous course looks like. You may need to contact your courses or your teachers no matter what. So Zoom is something that you are going to need to download. I also use Skype, so I have, I've got Skype and Zoom that I use for my different students. So it just depends on what teacher you end up getting for that specific course. They will all either use Skype or Zoom. So I've launched into the synchronous courses because many of you are going to be familiar with those, but I want to talk about the 3 different types of courses: the online, the hybrid, and the individualized. So let's get started with that. And I will let you know that all of our courses, not all of them, most of our courses are offered both online and individualized. So you can do either one, or they're available online and hybrid. And this is going to be, if you've already taken some online courses, you kind of know the drill. But an online course is based in Moodle. I'm going to bring my face down a little bit. So an online course is based in Moodle, and I'm going to show that to you first. So if I go to my Moodle courses, I'm going to take you through my anatomy and physiology course here for a second. This is a grade 12 course. I guess I could take you through Workplace Math 10 because I teach a grade 10 course. Might be a little bit better. So I'm going to view it as a student, which would be exactly how you would see it if you logged in. So at the top of my page, I've got a course welcome video. And so I want students to play this and watch it, and it explains the course. I'm not going to watch the whole video because I already made it, but I explain how the course works. All of my contact information is at the top here. I've got policies and procedures, and I've got all this blah, 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 blah stuff. And then the course is laid out in lessons. There's an assignment, there are tests. And so in an online course, absolutely everything is done through this online platform. So you've got, everything provided, and you don't need anything. You literally log in, that's it. Any resources or, what have you are going to be built in here, and that's it. Now, we have online courses for, all types of courses. But I'm not going to do a full tutorial on what an online course looks like. When you log into Moodle, it's going to give you an orientation. But I also teach the hybrid option of Workplace Math 10. And so what this looks like is I have a similar thing where I've got a course information at the top and I've got my course information, but instead you actually order curriculum. And so I'm going to pull out. This is actually the MathWorks 12 book, but I've got a bunch of different books. So instead, you're going to order some type of curriculum and you're going to use this curriculum and go through it. So a hybrid or an individualized course are going to use curriculum. Now, when I say individualized in hybrid, a hybrid course will always have a Moodle. So you're always going to still have this Moodle that you're able to go into. There's going to be pacing guides. There's going to be, all this stuff here in Moodle, but you're also going to use a curriculum. Now, a purely individualized course oftentimes will not have a Moodle. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, just depending on the teacher. But an individualized approach is much more parent and student focused. So if you are wanting to do an individualized course, it's because you probably already have a curriculum that you really, really want to do, that you really, really know and love. So a popular individualized course would be Christian studies, because in Christian studies, parents come from, some sort of faith background, and they might have a favorite curriculum that they want to use already for a course like that. They might be following a curriculum that goes kindergarten to grade 12. Same thing with math. If they are aiming to take pre-calculus math 12, lots of times family are like, you know what, I've used my Singapore math from grade 5 and it goes all the way to grade 12. I want to continue using that. You're going to go into the individualized or hybrid version of math. So this is just a quick overview of the different types. But Spark Notes is that an online course will be directly through Moodle. You will only ever be working online. You might print stuff off, scan it in, but it's going to be online. Individualized hybrid is going to use a curriculum. So you're going to be purchasing some sort of book and you're going to be working pen and paper, old school style. So those are the two differences, and they still have to cover the exact same content. So there's not one that's easier than the other one because they have to cover the same content. So there's that. All right, so now I've been talking about all these courses. So these are the courses that you are required to take in order to graduate. This is our Dogwood course planner, and you'll end up getting quite familiar with all the courses that you need. And I do want to take a moment. So if you look at this, you'll see English Language Arts 10 module, English Language Arts 10 module. I'm going to go over that in a minute. Social Studies 10, Science 10, Math 10, Career Life Education, and then PE 10. What you will know is that 6 of the required courses are in grade 10. So it ends up having a heavier focus in grade 10. And then in grade 11, you need an English, a math, you need your 4 core. So English, social science, math. So you go from 6 required courses to 4 required courses. And then in grade 12, you only need English 12, or actually English Studies 12, it's called now, and Career Life Connections, which is like, it used to be called grad transition. So it's like a career type focus to transition students into the workplace and wherever they're going to be going after high school. And so there's actually like these 2 required grade 12 courses you do need to take. If you scroll down to the very bottom, it says that of the 80 credits that you need for graduating, at least 16 must come from grade 12 courses. So you actually are required to take 4 grade 12 courses. Career Life Connections does not count. So English 12 is one of them because it has to be, which leaves 3 other grade 12 courses. The thing that's nice is that if you're going to university, these are going to need to be like, pre-calculus math 12 and, biology 12 or chemistry 12 or physics 12 or calculus 12 or, history 12. those types of courses, those academic courses. But if you're trying to, just graduate with the bare minimum, you can take Work Experience 12. There's two. There's actually Work Experience 12 and Work Experience 12B. So A and B, Work Experience 12A, Work Experience 12B, English 12, and then you could take one other grade 12 course like a PE 12, which are now called Active Living 12 and Fitness and Conditioning 12, and you can get those credits really easily. So what I'm trying to tell you through this is that there are 6 required grade 10 courses, but then only 4 required grade 11 and 4 required grade 12. And at some point during this time, you need to take a fine arts or ADST course, just one, nice and easy. So you can take a music course, you can take like a shop course, an elective, any design course. Work experience counts as this. If you take Work Experience 12A or Work Experience 12B, that counts as an ADST credit course. So that should be pretty easy to get. And then additionally, if you want to receive our Heritage Christian Online School certificate, you must take Christian Studies 10, 11, and 12. I think that the minimum is that you must complete 2 of them in order to get the certificate, if my memory serves me correctly. If you are planning to go to a university and it's not UBCO, you're going to want to take a second language 11. Currently, I'm very intimately involved at UBCO. I know the requirements very well because it's the closest university to me, and that's where I went. And they did not require a second language 11. What they did require is that for you to graduate from university, you needed a certain level of a second language credit to graduate. So if you don't take it in high school, you had to take it in university. So it's kind of up to you. I would recommend taking a second language, not only for university entrance, but also just for the social side of things. And I just think that it's valuable to have a second language. My second language is Espanol, Spanish, and I've been to Mexico many times. Normally when I'm there, I'm forced to speak it so much, so I'm quite fluent. Whereas when I'm here in Kelowna, I don't speak it quite as much. But whenever I see migrant workers, I try to throw in a couple words whenever I can. So this is your course planner, and I create one for each student, and I just keep it. I sort of like go through and I'll fill it out. Not with this, with this. And once a student has completed it, I throw it in green. As you're working on it and it's in progress, I put it as yellow. And then anything that's blank is something that has to be worked on. So as you're going through this, you'll notice that not the required credits are 52, but to graduate you need 80. So you do need to fill in elective courses, and elective courses can be, your fun courses. And really quickly, I want to branch away from this page and show you our course library. So all of these things are going to be linked in the email that's going to accompany this. So if you're watching this, you can go back to the email. You can be able to come to the course library. You can see it's courses.onlineschool.ca. So if you go to grade 10 courses, and if you click on grade 10, if you click on Heritage, you will be able to see every single course that's offered. And there are so many options. It's really cool. Now, I wanted to show this to you because we're going to go back to the course planner and I've got some more things to show you. But if you're looking for just applied design, skill, and technology courses, you can take a look. If you're just looking for arts courses, you can take a look. If you're just looking for Christian studies courses or sciences, all those types of things, they're all here. So this is a great place. It gets more fun, I think, come grade 11 and grade 12 when you have more space to take courses. So I want to come back to the course planner for a second. And I want to show you 2 specific things, the English and the math. So in these 2 courses, you get your first options. So in English, they've kind of made this interesting thing where if you had ever taken English before, English 10, 11, 12 now are very, very different. In English 10, you take two credit courses, and they're modules. And there's 5 different modules that you can take, and you put them together to create your 4 credit English. In grade 11, you choose one of those 5 options, and that will create your English for grade 11. You can take additional options, and they will be elective credits in the English. So if you love, love, love English, beforehand, there was just an English 11 course, and that was it. Now there are 5 different English courses, and you can take them. I'm not going to go into each and every one of them because you can definitely go over that with your English teacher. In grade 12, every student must complete English Studies 12. And then if they want to take additional credits, they can take it. So I want to quickly show this to you visually because it is a little bit confusing. So if I go into English Language Arts 10, here are the 5 options: composition, creative writing, literary studies, new media, and spoken language 10. These are the 5 courses that you get to choose from, and we offer all 5 individualized. If, however, you're wanting to do the online option, we only have one option, and it is the composition literary study combo. We didn't have enough time and resources to create online versions for all 5 of these. So what our online school team did is they just built the 2 most popular, the reading, the writing, and that's what they have. So if you're wanting to take creative writing, new media, or spoken language, you'll have to take those individualized. Composition and literary studies are also available individualized. In grade 11, there are again these 5 options, but now you only choose one. And again, because of resources, we weren't able to create an online course for all 5 of these, so we've only created one for literary studies. So if you want to read some awesome books and do some studies on them, that is your online course, but all 5 of these will be available individualized as well. So then we go to English 12, which gets kind of funky. So you can see English Studies 12 with an asterisk here. Every student must take English Studies 12 to graduate from high school. And additionally, composition, creative writing, literary studies, new media, and spoken language can be taken for additional credits if you love English and writing. So there's that. Hopefully that explains that well enough. Sorry that it is not easier to figure out. Then the next thing that we have to talk about is math. So in grade 10 is the first option of streams. And as you get farther along, there are more and more streams. So in grade 10, there is the Foundations in Pre-Calculus Math 10, and there is the Workplace Math 10. So if you are really good with math, if you want to be going to university, upper level college courses, if you want to leave the maximum amount of doors open, you're going to want to go to Foundations of Pre-Calculus Math 10. Open all those doors. If you, however, struggle with math, it's not your best subject, come to Workplace Math 10. I teach them. So I teach the Workplace Math options. To bust a myth, right now as your grad advisor, you can still go to university. You can still go to college if you take Workplace Math 10, Workplace Math 11. You do not require pre-calculus 11 math to get into an arts program at a college or at a university. And lots of other programs as well will not need it. So this is one option where you have to think about a potential future career and say, do I need to, even if math is a real struggle for me, do I need to buckle down and do Foundations of Pre-Calculus Math 10 and try my hardest and get that credit? Because Foundations of Pre-Calculus Math 10 opens up, and there's more branching in grade 11. So in grade 11, I'll go this way. You can go into Foundations of Math 11 and Pre-Calculus Math 11. So actually, Pre-Calculus Math 11 is the harder upper level credit, and then Foundations of Math 11 is a little bit easier. My general example is that if you're wanting to go into engineering, you would go and take Pre-Calculus Math 10, or Foundations of Pre-Calculus Math 10, Pre-Calculus 11, Pre-Calculus 12. If you want to go into nursing, you could take Foundations of Pre-Calculus Math 10, Foundations of Math 11, Foundations of Math 12. You could actually also do just Pre-Calculus 11. For the nursing program at UBCO, they accept Foundations of Math 12 or they accept Pre-Calculus 11. So this math option is one that you have to decide upon. So now that I've talked about sort of these courses, I need to talk about the program in general. So if you're looking at this, you're like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. There's 80 credits, which is 20 courses. And those 20 courses are split up over 3 years, which ends up being 7 courses, 7 courses, and 6 courses if you want to take the bare minimum 80 credits. However, if you're aiming to go into, upper level, university programs and things like that, you're going to want to be taking 8 courses, 8 courses, 8 courses every year because there's lots of different requirements that you're going to need to meet in order to get into a university program. For the university program that I went into, I did my Bachelor of Science and I got a degree in biology with a minor in earth science. I really enjoyed that. And when I went in, my academic credits, I'd taken Spanish 10, 11, 12. So I had a grade 12 credit there. I had, they didn't call it pre-calculus, but I took pre-calculus 11, pre-calculus 12 math. I took biology 11, 12. I took chemistry 11, 12. Our school didn't offer physics, so I never took any physics. I took English 12, and then I didn't take history 12. So yeah, those were sort of my academic courses that I had taken. And if you want help picking out academic courses, we can always chat. So if, however, you're thinking, man, this is going to be a lot, students do split their high school over 4 years. So they look at it, they say, you know what? If we split this over 4 years, that's 5 courses per year, and we graduate a little bit later, but we do it like that. And some students may need to just have the peace of mind that they don't need to be taking that many courses per year, 7 courses. They can be taking 5, and it's a lot more manageable. So please keep that in mind. Another thing that you can keep in mind is that there is only a Science 11, Math 11, and Social Studies 11 requirement to graduate, which means, yes, you should be taking English 10, English 11, English 12, sequentially, grade 10, 11, grade 12, absolutely. However, you do not need to take Math 10. If Math is your worst subject, you do not need to take Math 10 in grade 10. You could do Math 10 in grade 11, and you could do Math 11 in grade 10. Same goes if you're really poor with science. You can even say, I'm going to do Science 10 in a year and a half. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. But basically what I'm trying to say is that you can complete your courses out of sync. So you can do your grade 10 courses, some of them in grade 11 and grade 12 if you needed to. It's absolutely not the end of the world. There are 6 of them, and then if you add in Christian Studies 10, that's 7 courses that you would be taking in grade 10. And sometimes, in most cases, from what I have personally experienced helping out students for a long time, is that grade 10 ends up being the hardest year. They end up filling up with a ton of credits. They'll take 8 courses in grade 10. By the time they get to grade 12, they only need to take 4 courses to graduate. They take those 4 courses, they're done. It was easy. So just keep in mind that if grade 10 is seeming like it's just coming to be too much, you can put off courses till later. Which brings me to my next point, and that is here we go, pacing guides. So here are some different options that I have for students. So this is on an 8 course schedule, and you could modify this for how many courses you want. But if you'll look over here, you can see that there are the school year dates, and I've split it up so that sometimes students want to take certain courses in first semester, certain courses in second semester, and then certain courses linear. Linear is sort of the same word as synchronous. So linear means you start that course in September and you go all the way till June. So in this course, you can see that I've paired math and science together in first semester, then you can pair your English and social studies in second semester. You could do it flipped. So if you wanted to do the opposite, if you wanted to do like a math and an English together, and then a science and social studies together, that would totally be fine. But here's one option where you're doing some courses, and a linear course, Christian studies. If you're doing Christian studies, and you're a Christian family, you're probably going to be doing youth group, church Sundays, devotions, whatever it might be, throughout the entire year. So it's a good course to be linear. PE 10, you might be doing physical activities all throughout the year. Could be like that. However, maybe you're the opposite, and you're like, no, I want to take all of these linear synchronous courses. So you could enroll into all your core synchronous courses. You could even take Christian studies synchronous if you wanted, and then you could do some of your electives, other credits in a semester. So you could say, you know what, I'm going to do PE in this first semester. I'm going to be really active September, October. I want to go snowboarding in the winter, so I'll do that. And then second semester, I'll do a career life. You can also pair it so that there's half of your courses first semester, half of your courses second semester. This is what a lot of campus schools do. So if you've ever been to a campus school, or had experience, know people, oftentimes this is what I did like every year that I can remember when I was in high school and I attended a campus school, is that we did our first 4 courses, and then we did all of our final exams, and then we start new courses, and then we do all those final exams. And this enabled, so once you get to like grade 11 and grade 12, what you can do is in first semester, you can take something like chemistry 11, and then in second semester, you can take chemistry 12. So even though you might only be in grade 11, you're doing both courses in the same year, back to back, because they build on each other. I'd actually recommend taking chemistry 11 and chemistry 12 in the same year, potentially, rather than doing chemistry 11 in one year and chemistry 12 the next year. You might forget some stuff. You could even stick with your gut if you really like the K-9 program and do everything linear. So that's another option. So these are just some pacing options that I'm laying out for you. You don't necessarily need to use my exact layouts. If you want to use them, that's great. If you want to modify them for yourselves, that's also great. And when you enroll into courses, it'll ask you first semester, linear, second semester. So you'll be able to do that. All right, I've gone through a lot. So the next thing that I have to talk about then is I'm going to go back to our homepage, is funding. I'm going to put myself right in the middle here. So I'll leave that there. So in our program, in K-9, the funding is based on per student. So you get funding based on being a student in grade 5 or in grade 8 or in grade 9. So you have this huge allotment of funding, and you can go and you can purchase all the curriculum and different things that you need. In high school, it's completely different. You get funded per course. So now that I've talked about what an online course and a hybrid course and an individualized course is, there is certain funding associated with them. So in an online course, you get no funding as a family to purchase curriculum. That's because we've already spent all the time and money and energy in creating these online courses that a student enrolls in them, boom, you're good. You don't need anything to do that course. It's all provided. Whereas if you are enrolling into a hybrid course or into an individualized course, you are going to need funding. So you are provided with $100 per course of funding, and that should cover the books for your course. It doesn't in every situation, so sometimes you might have to overlap. My workplace math courses, these books only cost $20. It's super nice. They're cheap. I love it. If you take my courses, you'll have leftover funding for other courses. However, foundations and pre-calculus math, those textbooks can be a little bit more pricey. Science, pricier still. So just be aware that you are going to be given funding, and that's how I would recommend, I'd recommend taking a couple individualized courses if you're going to take them, and then you've got that pool of money in order to purchase the curriculum for those courses. So that's one big thing though. So even the way you can spend funding is a little bit different. Certain purchases you can't use. Like you can't purchase anything that's usable. So you can't purchase, tennis shoes for your individualized PE course because that wouldn't work, but you could purchase lessons instead. And if you're wanting to know about how to use funds, you can contact your teachers. So in my math course, I know exactly what workbooks or textbooks you're going to need. And so would the English teacher or the Christian studies teacher or whoever it is that you talk to. Now I want to talk about, the last thing, we're getting near the end here, are the websites that you're going to be needing to get familiar with here at your time in the grad program. So I'm going to put myself back in the corner. And like I said, this Heritage Christian Online School, the onlineschool.ca homepage, that's obviously a big one. But then we have our own Heritage Christian grad program page. And this is where you're going to actually probably spend most of your time as a student. And I really hope that you can engage with it and use all the different areas appropriately. So on the homepage is all of our important information. It's headed up by our grad director. So if you go to staff and teacher directory, and you scroll down, so here's our heads of schools, Sarah and Craig, they oversee all of us. Here are the divisional directors. So Chelsea Bickgood is our director of the grad program. So she is the hierarchy above me, and she's the one who oversees lots of the grad program homepage. She's amazing. I've worked with her for a very long time. And if I go to program admin, you're going to see the grad advisors. There's me. I work alongside a lot of other ones that are around BC. They're all amazing and very lovable. If you come back here to this grad program page, there's lots of different areas to explore. We're going to start with the resources. So you don't need to worry about the grad ceremonies until you're hitting grade 12, but this is where all that information is. Learning Commons. You should already be familiar and know what the Learning Commons is, and the learning groups for that matter, because of your time in the K-9 program. So nothing is different there. Learning Commons is basically our online library. Learning groups are face-to-face opportunities. Provincial assessments. This is one thing that I didn't go over on the course plan because we're going to go over it now. So at the very bottom here, there are two assessments that are currently required, and they are the numeracy and literacy 10 assessments. There used to be a English 12 provincial exam, and they have phased that out, and there is going to instead become a literacy 12 exam coming into play. So you guys who are going to be going into grade 10 next year, you're going to have the numeracy and literacy exams to write in grade 10. And then once you get to grade 12, there's going to be a literacy exam or a literacy assessment. So this is one thing that's important. The literacy 10 assessment is not your English 10 exam. The numeracy 10 assessment is not your math 12 exam. They are completely separate. These exams are put out there by the Ministry of Education. So they do not relate to your course. You will still need to write your English 10 final exam. You will still need to write your Math 10 final exam. These are different, and you're going to sign up for them. They happen all over the province. If you're close to Kelowna and you're going to be writing the exam, I'll probably be overseeing it for you guys. I've overseen them quite a few times now. And you come in, all the registration is here, and that's set up. Travel and outreach. So there are some really cool options for travel in the grade 10 to 12 program. The most big and popular one is it used to be called the CompCiv trip. Yeah, the CompCiv. Now it's Comparative Religions and Philosophy program, but it goes to Europe over spring break. You have to know about the program and apply and get accepted at the beginning of the school year. So this is definitely more designed for like grade 12 students, but they also accept grade 11 students. I don't think grade 10 would be able to go on it, but something to work towards and be excited about. We also have our global citizenship program, which is so this is, 2 weeks over spring break. GCP is a 6-week trip to Mexico. Bummer that this year, due to COVID, all of our trips have been canceled. So, yeah, really stinky year for those guys. But for you guys, it should be fine. There's also a adventure discipleship program. This is a application process, and you can talk to James Nelson, who oversees it. But they go and they tie up the Christian Studies course in with a adventure and an outdoor ed component. So there are certain times where we actually offer cross-curricular packages. So adventure discipleship is one such package that involves Christian studies, an outdoor ed or PE 10 credit, depending on what grade you're in. I think you also get an applied skill credit. It's really cool. In addition to this package, there's also a package called the Humanities program. And the Humanities program packs English, social studies, and Christian studies into one. It is a big, heavy course, but it is rich and full of amazing learning. And the teachers who are teaching in there are very passionate. So that's another program. Encounters with Canada and SALT, you can read a little bit more about. They are not trips that we as a school put on, but we just facilitate, yes, you can go on these trips if you like. So they are available, but we do not run them. Next up is the Breakfast Club. So if you've ever been to a campus school, they will either, if it's a Christian school, they'll often have like a chapel block. If you've been to a public school, they'll have an assembly. And we have what's called the Breakfast Club, where it's a drop-in Zoom room on Fridays. And one of our teachers and grad advisors, Mr. Venny, Eric Venny, runs it. He's also the head of he runs the humanities program. So he's huge passionate into it. And he also goes on the trip to Europe, so the comparative religions and philosophy. So he's super awesome, super cool, and he teaches these courses. His email address is here. So he hosts this. However, he shares this with other grad advisors. So I actually have led the first 3 of this school year, and it was really awesome. So the Breakfast Club is just a great place for everything. There is post-secondary information up here as well, but I do want to bring you to the grad regions. So you do not need to go to the other graded regions because our graded region is the interior. So this is my own page that I get to run. There's honestly not actually a lot of to be on here because I had to take down pretty much everything due to COVID. But right now I just made a grad advising update. I make an update every month. So here are my grad advising updates. And then if you want to get to know me, I said at the very beginning that I'd talk to you about this later, you can come and watch the Mr. Kuchma documentary. So you can come, you can click on this link. If you do want to come, you're going to have to follow the link in the email that takes you to this HCOS grad program page, and you can learn about that. So I actually have office hours weekly that are just for grad advising, and this is where they are. You can see that I had some events hosted this year. They were really fun, but unfortunately had to cancel my last 2 again due to COVID. So this is usually where I post lots of like events that are happening in our regions and like info sessions and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, it's sort of bare right now just due to everything that's going on. Another thing that you're going to want to take a look at is your transcript. So as you complete courses, you're going to be building your transcript. I'm just going to mention this really quickly, but you can set up a BCE ID. And I'm going to talk about this more in September when you're actually starting. But this is how you'll actually be able to view your transcript at any time. So I'll help you get that set up. You're going to just need your personal education number. You're going to click on current student, and you'll be able to access your transcript at any time. So your personal education number for children is in NCOM, but I'm also able to access it. So I have talked for so long. I'm sorry, but this is just a quick introduction into high school, away from the kindergarten to grade 9. What is a big difference is that now all of the courses that you take, look at this wispy. All the courses that you take are going to be moving towards a transcript, building up your diploma, those 80 credits, or more if you get to them. I didn't mention this. It's on my sticky note. But in addition to taking courses, you can also get credit for external credits. So a really popular one, once you turn 16, is that you get your L. And if you take the driver training program, you get a 2-credit certificate. And it gets you 2 credits towards your high school graduation, which is kind of free. It's nice. It's easy credits. And there are lots of different things that give you external credits. Sports teams can give you external credits. Volunteering can give you external credits. Getting your life-saving, lifeguarding, scuba diving, 4-H, cadets, any kind of cadets. There are a ton of music, if you're in the Royal Conservatory. There are tons of ways to actually put credits on your transcript without even doing a course, but by doing something that you're doing outside of school. So there's that as well. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, pat yourself on the back. Hopefully you ate through all your popcorn. And I assume that you're probably going to have follow-up questions to me. Right now, I am filming this on Good Friday, April 10th. It is my son's birthday, so I'm going to go and celebrate right now. But I was working a little bit today. And I would love to connect with you guys sometime between now and the end of the school year to go over what the next school year is going to look like. The one thing of homework that you are going to have as a grade 9 parent is that you're going to need to go into NCOM and you're going to need to re-enroll your child for the upcoming school year. Once you have enrolled them, then I can start building courses and your course list. The only thing is we can actually not add courses until after May 1st. So May 2nd is the first day of the school year that I will be able to add courses for you guys going into grade 10. So from now until then, you guys can start planning, you can start preparing. I would love if you did not flood me with emails right now asking me a ton of questions. What I would love is for you to hold on to your questions, write them all down on a sticky note, and then pop them my way after May 1st. That way I can, when I actually do have access to everything, I'll be able to answer all your questions, I'll be able to add all your courses, and we can talk about anything that you might want to chat about. So I'm excited to be your grad advisor. I really do enjoy the connection with families and getting to help them make it to the finish line. That's what it's all about, getting to that finish line. And I will be there for your steps along the way. So best of luck in finishing up grade 9, and I look forward to getting to know you guys and helping you guys in the very near future. See ya.